So you also flew to where?
San Francisco.
San Francisco, beautiful SF, to play Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Yeah, I played played it for about an hour and a half. Stuff should, coverage should go up today. I wrote a very long piece about just covering a bunch of different details. So they gave me sort of the spiel about like, here's all the characters, here's everything, and then I asked them a bunch of very specific, fighting game questions like how does this character change, how is this different, and then. So
if you're an MVC nerd, go look on the site for
a preview of Marvel vs. Capcom. That should be on the site now.
Okay.
But yeah, they announced 8 new characters, 5 for. It's really unbalanced because it's 5 for Marvel and 3 for Capcom. Well, technically 4 for Capcom.
Let's start with Capcom.
All right, so the new Capcom characters are Chun-Li.
Hang on, stop. Jeff from Chun-Li. Good choice.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
great.
Great.
What else
Great choice.
Chris Redfield.
Yeah,
Sure.
he's pretty good.
If you have to choose a Redfield.
Yeah, one of the better Redfield. Strider.
Strider.
Sure.
Classic
Yeah.
choice. He's got to have a Strider.
This is
in
basically
Marvel.
his main series at this point. He's been in more Marvel vs. Capcom games than actual Strider games.
Interesting theory. Okay, sure.
And then Sigma from Mega Man X, who will be a DLC character. I wasn't able to get any hands-on time with him, but
Sure.
he's a big part of the trailer. And for Marvel, they announced Ultron. I'm waiting for. Okay.
Yeah. Why'd you do that, Suriel?
I messed up. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have told him to put him in the game. Hawkeye, who looks a lot more like Jeremy Renner this time around.
Cool.
Okay.
The Hulk, everyone's favorite.
Right.
He's Thor.
Uh-huh.
Rocket Raccoon, who again looks more like his DC
Like
universe.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah,
Exactly, like Bradley Cooper with a tail. Have they addressed the X-Men conundrum yet?
They haven't. They wouldn't. They
Uh-oh.
said we're not answering any questions about roster changes. I asked, and they were like, "We can't answer
It
anything."
would be
about
so
that.
weird without Wolverine in that game.
Yeah.
Like he has been a mainstay in that franchise since X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Yep.
Yeah, so what's the high-level takeaway from your time with the new Infinite?
So I don't care for the way it looks.
Yeah.
It looks fine. It's not as bad as KOF because KOF is just looks like a game from last generation. But this just looks like high resolution renders of these characters versus Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which had a very stylized, very cartoonish look where all the
Right.
characters had thick black outlines. This just looks like they were told to make it like the movies, and so they did. And this is just like here's Jeremy Renner,
Yeah.
not Jeremy Renner as
Made it
Hawkeye.
like the Strider movie.
Yeah, like the Strider movie. But the actual gameplay, I think, is going to be very fun, but a little different. So you can't, use assists, which kind of like were a big part of extending combos. But they've added a lot of things to sort of extend those combos because a lot of the times assist characters were just kind of there to sort of provide covering fire and extend combos for a little bit. Now every character has ways to sort of do that on their own without having to rely on a character that is only there for their assist.
So do you think they're making smart decisions, or is it just as simple as Marvel's huge, they're trying to make this for a wider base?
Yeah, that's totally the feeling
That's
I'm
the
getting
overall
from it,
storyline
they
here?
they want people who just want to have Marvel and Capcom characters fight each other have more fun than they were in past games, which got really technical. They were trying to with Marvel 3, we want to make a game that appeals to people who like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which was a very technical game with a lot of ins and outs, and so they just sort of made that again with new characters. Whereas this is you can just mash the square button and you get automatic combos that are somewhat lengthy and do as much damage as regular ones. But obviously, if you know what you're doing, you're going to have longer combos. And one of the big takeaways is that they've removed sort of the uppercut motion, so like the classic Shoryuken motion for most characters. So it's just like down, and punch will give you an uppercut move. But they've told me that with Ryu specifically, he'll be keeping his uppercut motion.
Because they
Thank
couldn't
God,
remove
yeah.
that.
They
even
said,
remove
well,
it
it's
for
in
Smash
development. Who
Brothers.
knows what else we might change? It's not set in stone. But I asked about Ryu and they said yeah.
So are you feeling confident about the overall direction then?
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it's going to be super divisive in
Yeah.
terms of fighting game people because fighting game people, they just want sort of like here's the thing we've loved and here's a new version of that. This seems very wild and very different. And a lot of times when Capcom goes out of the way to be different, it's not met very well. Sort of like the last crossover game they kind of went out of the way with was Tatsunoko versus Capcom, which some people like, but most of the fighting game community kind of didn't really latch onto it. Cross Tekken was not well loved by people like to play it. No one seems to really want to watch it. And Street Fighter V has had sort of its issues
Right.
with launch, and so everyone's kind of like, I don't know about I hope it's good.
Everybody at the event was going, I don't know.
It was like a small time event. It wasn't like a big thing. It was just me and them in a room for a while. But I came out of it like, yeah, kind of pretty excited about it.
Right on. When's it coming out?
September 19th.
Thank you so much for watching this excerpt from the Game Informer Show podcast. You can click right here if you want to subscribe and listen to the audio version of the full show. Full episodes air every Thursday, and they feature Game Informer editors sitting around talking about the biggest reviews, previews. We talk about exclusive impressions of Game Informer's cover stories. We have long-form developer interviews, everything that's great in gaming. So every Thursday, be sure to check it out.